Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do the January 27th just for today in a meditation. I hope you're doing well this morning. The title of the meditation is Learning How to Live Again. We learn new ways to live. We are no longer limited to our old ideals. Basic text 56. We may or may not have been taught right from wrong and other basics of life as children. No matter, by the time we found recovery, most of us had only the vaguest idea of how to live. Our isolation from the rest of society had caused us to ignore basic human responsibilities and develop bizarre survival skills to cope with the world we lived in. Some of us didn't know how to tell the truth. Others were so frank we wounded everyone we talked to. Some of us couldn't cope with the simplest or personal problems, while others attempted solving the problems of the whole world. Some of us never got angry, even when receiving unfair treatment. Others busily lodged complaints against everyone and everything. Whatever our problems, no matter how extreme, we all have a chance in Narcotics Anonymous to learn how to live anew. Perhaps we need to learn kindness and how to care about others. Perhaps we need to accept personal responsibilities. Or maybe we need to overcome fear and take some risk. We can be certain of one thing: each day, simply by living life, we'll learn something new. Just for today, I know more about how to live than I did yesterday, but not as much as I'll know tomorrow. Today, I'll learn something new. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please, and thank you. So we're talking about learning how to live again, and of course, looking at how each of us were when we first came into the rooms. There's a lot about us that came with that, right? We all had something that we carried into the rooms with us that was unmanageable. Otherwise, we would not be there. So that's common sense. We're not talking about an Einstein moment or anything like that. It doesn't take a genius, right, to know that. We came into the rooms with problems. We came with idiosyncrasies. We came with different things about us that were awkward, different habits that were tasteless in many, many ways, right? When the basic text talks about that our way of living had become reduced to animal level, right? And I'm paraphrasing, but our living skills were reduced to animal living, right? In a sense, in many, many ways, right? And there's this context of today's society of the unhoused and what that looks like. And so I'm not talking about that, because you can be of that population and clean. You can be of that population and working. It's not always likely, but a lot of times there's mental illness attached to that. Not all the time, right? That's a broad statement. And I don't mean to generalize, but I'm saying that when we're looking at the basic text and we're talking about having ourselves reduced to certain ways of living as a result of the disease of addiction, I'm not necessarily talking about the unhoused type of living. I'm not, because I know some very clear, focused individuals that are unhoused, and they make meetings on a regular basis. They hold meetings in their tent, even, right? So I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm talking more about our personality and our behavior, not the status quo, what our houses and cars look like, right? And so we come into the program a lot of times with so much out of whack. It's said that the capacity to feel was reduced for us, right? To be emotional and to know what emotion even that we're experiencing. It's not uncommon to ask a newcomer, what are you feeling? What do you think? I don't know. I do not know. I'm not even sure I want to be here. I know you've heard newcomers say that, and you probably have even said it yourself. That's because there's so much that was not okay about the way that we were living, and we brought that into the rooms with us. The only thing that had changed in that instant was the fact that we had a desire to stop using. And for many people, had accomplished a few days, a period of time of not using. But to be honest, we weren't necessarily comfortable with that. And we could definitely not project that we would stay. Now, we're taking that and comparing it to who we are today. That complaining individual, that unhappy individual, that person that had so many issues with personal relationships. And we're looking at the fact that we have a chance to learn how to do it right, how to do it in a more positive way. It doesn't mean we will. It doesn't mean that we won't have lapses, but we are given an opportunity. And that is something that I believe every human has a right to enjoy. The process of learning, the ability to learn. We deserve that, right? A lot of us, what we got honest, right? It was kind of handed down to us in the lifestyle that surrounded us when we were coming up. But today we can learn. We can learn that that's not normal to have to uh, go get new clothes because you refuse to wash the ones you have. That's not normal today. Many people do it, but it's not normal, right? To throw away dishes because they've become so moldy sitting around because we are not taking care of our kitchens and we're not cleaning behind ourselves and we're not saving unused foods or throwing them away. And so that's not normal to have that sitting around the house like that. So we get an opportunity to learn. And I'm very grateful for that. I hope you are too. I'm pretty sure you are if you're listening. I hope that you'll have a beautiful day on purpose.